Thank you, Lynette. Could we hear from the Reverend Jamie Washam?
Good evening, Chair, remaining members of the committee. I applaud your longevity. My Representative O'Grady, thanks for hanging in there. I am a pastor and minister of First Baptist Church in America, the church founded by Roger Williams in 1638, and I'm here in support of House Bill 5555. When Roger Williams founded Rhode Island, he initiated a lively experiment that he and the other early settlers here, where they afforded legal protection for concepts that were considered heretical at the time, but which we now embrace as common rights present in a dignified society. In the 1663 colonial charter that's on display in this State House, sorry, goodness, it's hard to read up here. Rhode Island it was established as a place for both religious liberty and the freedom of conscience. It is in this spirit that I stand in support of reforming our existing drug policies. One need not use marijuana nor even approve of marijuana to see that our current laws are ineffective and unjust. It's time for us to move beyond a culture of punishment and into one that reduces harm, respects and restores the dignity of all persons, and reestablishes Rhode Island as an example to other communities. We have the opportunity here in Rhode Island to be the first state in the Union to pass legalization through legislative action. I urge you to stop tabling this for further study. It's been studied. I urge you to bring this to a vote this session. Unlike some of you, I cannot trace my bloodline to ancient Rhode Island colonialists. I bet you can hear that in my patois. But I think coming into Rhode Island as an outsider, I'm able to see that you still have an opportunity in Rhode Island to be a place where lively experiments take place. You are of a size that can be nimble. You can serve as an incubator. You can try things here that then can be replicated in other places. And I urge you to take advantage of this agility and nimbleness that comes in a state this size. The war on drugs has failed in its stated objectives, and its legacy is one of broken communities, missed opportunities, and overextended criminal justice systems. People charged with marijuana offenses continue to face lifetime consequences in terms of housing and job prospects. The proposed legislation in House Bill 5555 would allow for the expungement of criminal records. The testimonies you've heard this evening are crucial. It would free up people who have already paid their debt to society to get on with their lives. Additionally, we have heard testimony this evening, and we know that institutional racism infects our criminal justice system. From its conception, the war on drugs sought to conflate race and crime in the public mind for political purposes. The young man who came and spoke just a little while ago gave us that testimony. Current policies only continue to perpetuate this injustice and these lies. We heard the statistics from the ACLU that Mr. Vincent gave us earlier, that here in Rhode Island, Black Rhode Islanders are 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana offenses, even though usage rates are the same across racial lines. Even after the enactment of decriminalization, there are still more than 1,400 marijuana-related arrests in the state from 2013 to 2014, and I would argue that that is more reason to legalize, because if it's legal to carry, then we know that there is it's disingenuous to suggest that you can possess something while it's still illegal to procure it. So even making the argument for decriminalization is nonsensical, because we know that if someone has it, they had to have procured it illegally, so there's always going to exist a market of people who will be subject to the criminal justice system. Legalizing regulating would address a lot of the issues we have about access for youth. It would make our communities safer. Illegal marijuana sales are the foundation for criminal markets that operate in every community in our state. A regulated market will protect our young people and other citizens in ways that prohibition or even decriminalization cannot. When people of any age seek to purchase marijuana in the underground market, they're often exposed to and encouraged to purchase far more dangerous substances. Legalization breaks the link between marijuana and more dangerous drugs by shifting sales of marijuana out of the criminal market and into regulated businesses that check IDs for age and will generate tax revenue for needed health and educational services. Marijuana use is a matter of public health and not criminal justice. I'm a follower of Jesus, and as I read Scripture, Jesus never threatened arrests and jail. He reached out, he listened. He spoke about mercy, about forgiveness, healing, and reconciliation. As civil rights lawyer and author Brian Stevenson observed this past Saturday here in Rhode Island when he was speaking after the Read Across Rhode Island event, he said, if you saw an alcoholic go into a bar, you wouldn't call the police, you would call their sponsor. And so I urge you to treat this as the health issue that this is, not a criminal justice issue. Our existing policy does not allow for this. It's time for Rhode Island to move beyond unhelpful and punitive measures and to create a more just and effective drug policy. A regulated drug market reduces crime, allows our police and court system then to focus on much more urgent priorities. My faith calls me to pursue and promote the respect and dignity of all persons. It's time to regulate and tax marijuana in the same ways that we currently regulate and tax alcohol, and to stop the shaming that goes along with it. I thank you in advance for your time, again for staying here in a late evening, for your consideration, and your willingness to do the right thing in Rhode Island by supporting and voting for House Bill 5555. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the Reverend Washam? Thank you, Reverend.
All right, you need a benediction because it's about that time.
I wish that were the case. We have about another 20 witnesses to go.